Welcome back, guys, to Snowstorm Studios, and as you can see by the background and the sound of this epic music behind me, we're going to be talking about the new DLC that we'll be hearing about this Wednesday. Today's Monday, so we'll be hearing about it in 2 days, guys. We're going to hear about the new DLC called, supposedly, Summerset Isles. And so what this video is, guys, it is my wants and needs for Summerset, and the way I'm going to critique what's coming in the future is by looking at the past. So we're going to look at Morrowind, and I'm going to say what I think Summerset should do, or whatever the new DLC should do differently than Morrowind. I think it'll be called Summerset Isles, guys, first of all, because I think they name all the chapters after a province, and I think this one is gonna be on the Summerset Isles, so they'll just call it Summerset Isles. But I digress, we'll see. So let's talk about what Morrowind brought to the game, and how they did it, and did it work. So the first thing we need to talk about with Morrowind, guys, is of course the land. I mean, Morrowind was a big expansion, in-game quests, new landmass to go to, and I actually think it's one of the stronger points in Morrowind. Is it worth $40? Absolutely not at all. But it was definitely a big change and something that we needed in this game. Stonefalls and Deshaun were definitely getting boring, and when you go to Morrowind, it feels different, and I think that was something that was really hard to capture, but they did it. With the Summerset Isles, guys, we've never actually been there before. There's a lot of lore behind it because we've heard about it in in-game books, we've watched lore series on it, we know that's where every single elf comes from, so ZeniMax definitely has to pull up their pants here and make sure that this landmass fits the lore and fits the epicness that we all imagined it. I mean, we've been thinking about it for so long. And I'm honestly going to say, guys, with the land, I'm actually very, very optimistic about it. Aradon, which is one of the islands in the AD, is part of the Summerset. It was broken off from it. It's right to the right if you look at the map. And it actually is a really, really beautiful, lush landmass, and it definitely captures what I thought the Summerset Isles would look like. So if they can just maybe up that a little bit and go to the Summerset Isles, they'll be fine. The next thing, guys, I want to talk about is Morrowind introduced a new class, the Warden. That's what we got last time. Will we get a new class here? I don't think so. I think what they're going to do is they're going to do Summerset, and then they're going to have a big patch update with more quality of life stuff. That's just my opinion, though. They could definitely introduce a new class, but the Warden wasn't received as well as I think they thought it was going to be. I know people were excited for it, and there was two little debacles about the Warden that I'll go into briefly. First one was the Stam Warden in PvP. A destructive PvP class. I don't play a lot of PvP, but when I went in there, I would get my butt whooped, and it was definitely a lot of Stam Wardens doing it. And what the community didn't like was it was a pay-to-win class. So you had to pay the extra $40 to get Morrowind, and then if you paid that extra $40, you would get the Warden, and then you could make a really destructive class. And a lot of people didn't like that, and that actually makes complete sense to me. I wouldn't like that either if PvP was my life. But that was a big problem. And then the other problem with the Warden is from the PvE perspective. It's a great class, but it's not best at anything. It is not the best DPS class, it's not the best tank class, and it's not the best healer class. ESO needed a class like that, in the middle class, where you can kind of I could make a Warden, and I could be a tank for 3 weeks, then I could switch and be a healer, and I could definitely perform, but I wouldn't be as good as a Templar or a Dragon Knight. But I don't know what new class is going to fit in to the Elder Scrolls class lineup right now. We have a tanking class, which I personally just think the Dragon Knight's the best. We have a healer class. Personally, I think the Templar will always be the best healer. And then we also have a bunch of DPS classes. The Templar, the Dragon Knight, the Sork, and the Templar can all do amazing DPS if you learn the class correctly and wear the right armor. So I don't know what they could fit in. They could maybe make another DPS class, but that would just be a pay-to-win if it was better, which they're going to make it good because they're going to want people to use it. So in my opinion, don't make a new class yet. Maybe wait till the next chapter. Do it every 2 years, because I think we're still recovering from the Warden, in my opinion. Another thing they've talked about, guys, and this is really quick, is people have been discussing a new race, and I just personally don't think that will happen in this DLC. People have been talking about a new race, either I want to say it was the Sloths. I probably have that wrong, but it's like an ancient race that lived on the Summerset Isles that the elves fought with, and maybe the story is based around them coming back and you can be one, but I don't know. I don't think there'll be a new race. I think that would break lore really hard, and I think the one place ZeniMax fits into the lore of Elder Scrolls is they actually just have the correct races. They haven't added anything else yet. So because of that, I don't think they'll do anything with adding a new race. But now, guys, let's get into the really controversial stuff, PvP game modes. So last chapter, they added Battlegrounds, and Battlegrounds was a complete mess for two reasons. One, it had a $40 paywall behind it, And anyone who did buy it couldn't play it because it was broken on Xbox for about 3 months. So the two problems there were what I just said. You had to pay money for it and it didn't work. And once they got it working, no one was going to pay the money to play it. So right now Battlegrounds is dead. And I actually know that from experience. This Saturday I was playing with my brother and my friend, and we kept getting put into the same we kept putting into the game with the same groups, so we realized it was all of us just playing. We would go into the next round, different game, it'd be domination, then maybe some form of griffball from Halo or something, and we'd see them, we'd be like, oh, it's the same group, and they were really good and they kept kicking our ass. So you could tell that Battlegrounds is kind of dead. So my suggestion to Zos would be maybe make it work when it first comes out, or maybe make it open to the whole public. You can't lock off a game mode in PvP and expect it to flourish in Elder Scrolls. But we'll talk more about that later. The only other thing, guys, that we're going to talk about is the cost. So Morrowind was $40 for everyone, not just non-Plus members. So me, a Plus member, had to pay $40 too, and I think that's a little silly, but they can say, oh, we're putting in all this work. Well, if you're putting in all this work, Battlegrounds would have worked when it came out. The Warden would have been better at certain things. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but I just don't think you need to charge $40 from the Plus members. Maybe, how about $15 from a Plus member, like $30 1 month for it, and then $25, $30 from non-Plus members or something. Something a little lower. But guys, with Morrowind in review like that, let's talk about what the Summerset Isles needs to do to get it working. Or the Summerset Isles needs to do to make it superior to Morrowind. So obviously, guys, the landmass and the story and the quest needs to be just as good as Morrowind. That's where Morrowind flourished. They need to do it here. They got a lot of lore they can draw on. Make sure you stay true to Elder Scrolls, true to the stories, and you'll definitely fulfill that need. Secondly, guys, when it comes to a new race or a new class, whichever one they decide to do, I prefer neither, but if they decide to do one, make sure it fits into Elder Scrolls. That's not a pay-to-win. That's hard to do because you need to make it exciting for people to use. But how about maybe giving it a role that's a little different? Maybe giving it a role that can... You know, it's funny, I don't even know off the top of my head. I wouldn't know how to do it. But just make it so people want to do it, but make sure it's not game-breaking if you don't have it. So, and then with the PvP, if you introduce a new PvP game mode, which I don't even know if you should do that, to be honest, because it was sort of a shit show. But make it cheaper or make it free with the update, and then make Summerset Isles, or the new DLC name, just the story and the quests. Make the PvP free to everyone so everyone can play, so it flourishes in Elder Scrolls. But guys, that's really it. They're going to be doing this stream on Wednesday, so I'm going to make another video, a part 2 to this one, and we'll talk about what's going to go on with the Summerset Isles after they've talked about it. I may even do a stream watching their stream and reacting to it, but we'll just have to see what happens. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but if you guys would like to see it, please comment down below and let me know. Guys, let me know if you're excited about Summerset Isles. Me personally, I've never been as excited for a DLC as I am this one. I think Summerset has a lot of potential, and I think Zos could really learn from their mistakes and really make a great chapter, and actually make a chapter, you know, actually something that's worth calling a chapter, not a DLC. But regardless, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next stream or in the next video. Peace out.